Hello everyone, happy Thursday and welcome to the Thursday 12 p.m. Slow Flow Yoga class. I'm Jess, welcome to my living room. We're going to get started in a moment, but I want to make sure that you have something like a yoga strap with you. So if you don't have a yoga strap, you can use anything. You can use a scarf, you can use a bathrobe tie. Make sure that you have something. You can go grab a towel from your bathroom. Make sure you have something that you can hold out in front of you at about shoulder's width, maybe a little bit wider. So if you have a hand towel, make sure it's big enough. So if you need a moment to go get something, go get it now. It'll be worth it for you. So again, a scarf, a bathrobe tie, a hand towel or a bath towel, or even a shirt that is nice and stiff. And we're going to use that today for some release and stabilization in the shoulders. So once you've got what you need, I'm going to take my strap around my neck. You can put it down if you like. We're going to start standing today. So let's have your feet about sit bone distance apart, so about a fist's width apart. Lift up your toes, spread them out wide. And then just let your toes gently rest on the ground. You can let your eyes close. And invite your attention as entirely as you can to the feeling of this next breath in. And the feeling of this next breath out. Connecting now as you continue to breathe slowly and deeply to the fact that many of us, those of you who are watching live now, hello, and also those of you who are watching in the future, that we're all connecting in this space of our practice, through space, through time together. And just sensing, in addition to your present on your mat in this moment, sensing your presence in this community, in this collective, your presence with all of us who are here to take this hour to care for ourselves. And give yourself a nice full breath to stretch your arms up overhead. And then let's interlace the hands behind the back of the neck and just use your hands. You can soften the knees. Gently turn your head from side to side. You don't have to be too particular or precise about it. Just turn your head side to side in any which way feels good. And then you're going to grab your yoga strap or yoga strap equivalent. So for anyone joining in late, I see we got a few more viewers on our live feed. Grab something that you can hold at shoulder width, a scarf, a belt, a towel. And you're just going to hold your arms a little wider than your shoulders. They make a very gradual V. About shoulder height. If your shoulders are feeling really tight today, you can even take them a little bit wider, but not too wide, maybe an inch or two wider than your shoulders. And then drop your shoulders down. You can even soften your knees to emphasize that energy of going down towards the ground. And then as you lift through the crown of your head, feel the neck lengthening. And now you're going to gently pull that strap. As you do, you can drop it down an inch and turn your palms towards each other a few degrees. So I want the muscles on the sides of the neck to relax a little bit and the muscles at the bottoms of the shoulder blades to wake up. Turn your palm towards each other, palms towards each other, pull the strap gently, and then you're going to bend the knees and take your strap over to the right hip as you look towards the left. Inhale back through center. Exhale, strap towards the left hip as you look towards the right. And your right hand is going towards your left hip in the direction of. It doesn't have to touch. We're going to do that a few more times with the breath. Inhale up, exhale down. Inhale up, straightening the legs. Exhale down, bending the knees, sit back into your heels. You can even start as you go to pull back a little bit more. Turning to look the opposite direction that your hands are going. Just gently waking up the shoulders, the neck. A couple more breaths like that. Also, as you start to bend your knees maybe a little bit deeper, waking up your quads a little. Okay. And then let's come back to center and just let your hands go nice and wide. If you chose something that's not long enough, you might have a little bit of jolting on the way back, but if you can, nice smooth journey towards the back of your body. And then you'll just sway your arms a little side to side here. All right. Let's place the yoga strap or equivalent off to the side for the moment. And circle your shoulders around, circle your head around. As you inhale, stretch your arms out and up overhead. And then bend your knees a lot as you exhale. Move in the direction of resting your chest down on your thighs. Bring your hands either to the ground or your shins. You can take blocks under your hands or another prop if you have them. And then let your head go. We'll shake your head side to side. Let the back of the neck lengthen here. Then you'll take your hands to your hips, squeeze your elbows towards the ceiling, shift back into your heels. And let the spine round as you push through your heels. And let your head come up last. So I'm going to step to the front of my mat. It wasn't too sunny today, so I could open my windows for you guys and let some light in. I wish you could see the cherry tree in my courtyard. Arms by your sides. You can imagine its blossoms. Take a full breath in. And a full breath out. Have your strap nearby, so we're going to use it in a moment. And as you inhale, you'll stretch the arms out and up overhead, growing nice and tall. Use the whole length of the breath out to fold forward over your legs. As you inhale, lift the chest, lift the spine. And then bringing your hands down to the ground, let's bring the left leg back. And we're going to take the back knee down. So if your knees are sensitive, you might take a yoga blanket or a folded towel underneath your back knee and stretch your back foot back. Pick up your strap and lift your chest. We're going to take the strap behind the back here, and you're going to hold it about shoulders width with your palms facing forward. And then just like you did earlier in front of you, just gently pull the strap. And you can pulse the hips forward. So notice how my hip is not over my back knee. My front knee is over my front ankle, and my back knee is a little bit further back. Give yourself space to lengthen through the front of the left hip. And then gently pull the strap apart as you roll your shoulders back. Move the strap back just a couple of inches and allow the chest to lift. And let the gaze lift slightly, not by throwing the head back, but by taking a breath to lift the chest up. And then we're gonna, like we did a moment ago, let the strap sway side to side. And this might take you into a little bit of a twist. Just letting the spine wake up here. And also letting the hip flexors wake up here. Challenging some stabilizing muscles for you a little bit. Okay. And let the strap go. And then stretch your arms up, nice big breath. Interlace the hands and turn the fingers, palms up towards the ceiling. Release the interlace and just circle out your wrists a couple times in each direction. Let's take a side bend over towards the right, dropping your right hand, nice big breath into the left side. And back up to center. Bring your hands down to the ground around your right foot, back knee floats up, and let's step back to a downward facing dog. You can start with a nice generous bend in the knees, emulating again that feeling of resting the rib cage towards the thighs. And then just start to find a little bit of length, a little at a time through the legs, bending one knee and then the other. And
tuning in for a moment to the difference that you might feel in your two legs after doing that stretch on one side. Giving that the left hip flexors a chance to soften after being stretched for one more breath. And then as you inhale, we'll come forward to plank. We're pausing with the shoulders over the wrists. Thighs lift. Can you take a breath into the back of the body here? Shoulders back away from the ears. I always like on the first plank push up to lower the knees so that I can be really mindful. Shoulders back, chest forward. And I'm going to really slowly lower forward. Notice how my shoulders lift and all the way down. Point the toes back. Inhale to a baby cobra. And then let's hover the hands. Press down through the tops of the feet, so don't let them lift. And stretch your arms back. Palms face each other. Inhale lifts the chest. Lift the pinky fingers. Lift the pinky fingers higher. Lift the pinky fingers higher. And then lift the left side a little bit more than the right. And lift the right side a little bit more than the left. That feels really good. Let's do that once more each side. Good. Bring your hands back to a cobra position. And exhale back to downward facing dog. Let's lift the right leg in the air. And get some space in the ankle. Circle the ankle around one direction and then the other. Lift, bend your knee. Open the hip towards the right. Get that space in the right front of the hip. Right knee to nose, shoulders over wrists, make space. Step it forward. You can help it forward with your hands if you need. Step your left foot forward. Inhale, lift your chest. Exhale, fold down. Inhale, arms out and up. And exhale, hands by your sides. Full breath in here. And breath out. Inhaling, arms out and up. Exhale, dive forward. Inhale, heart forward. Hands to the ground, right leg goes back. Back knee comes down. Again, take that padding under your knee if you'd like. My knees are used to this. As you begin to lift up, you'll pick up your strap or equivalent, and we'll take it behind the back. By the way, if you're feeling wobbly here, you can take your left foot a little more to the left. That'll give you more support. So your hands are back behind you, palms facing forward, shoulder width or smidge wider. Squeeze your shoulder blades together, lift your chest. Spread the toes, especially that back foot. Let your hips come forward a little bit, push down through that left heel so the hips aren't sinking down. And then as you turn your palms forward and squeeze the shoulder blades together, pull on the strap. And just let it sway a little bit side to side. It can twist you a little. And coming back to stillness, lift the chest. Full breath. Let the strap go. Stretch the arms up. When you interlace your fingers, you're now going to take the non-habitual hand on top and turn your palms up. Lift the chest, lift the arms, lift the breath. And then release the interlace, and we'll take a side bend towards the left. And can you feel the breath lifting the right side of the rib cage? Spreading the right ribs. Both arms up. Hands to the ground. Downward facing dog. And again, we're going to pause here in this down dog for a while with the knees generously bent. So that right hip that was just pulled and tugged and stretched, the right hip flexors, right psoas, is now going to be slackened. We're just going to give those muscles a chance to soften and relax again. Keep that bend in your knees. Keep the sit bones lifting towards the ceiling for 2 more breaths. And then the inhale takes you to plank pose. Guess what? We're going to hang out here for another few breaths again. Using not just the heel of your hand, but also the fingertips. So it should feel almost like maybe, just maybe, the palm of the hand. Let's do it. Why not? Lifting the palm of the left hand, so just the fingertips are on the ground. Lifting the palm of the right hand, so just the fingertips are on the ground. Does anyone want to do both? I've actually never tried that before. Right, left, and both palms down. Okay, your choice, knees up or knees down. Shoulders back is not optional. Chest forward, legs are staying lifted. Slowly lower one more time, all the way to the ground. Point your toes back. Lift the shoulders. Lift the chest, baby cobra. So again, you're not using your hands this time. We'll bring those in the next round. And then reach your hands back. This time, palms face up. And then turn your palms just a few degrees away from each other. Lift your hands. Lift your chest. Let the lift of your hands lift your chest. And then like we did before, feet are grounded. Left hand lifts a little bit more towards the ceiling. Take a twist. And then right hand lifts a little bit more towards the ceiling. And left. And right. And one more each side. Hands to the ground. Downward facing dog. Left leg lifts up. Circle the ankle around. Don't want to forget that one. Both directions. Bend your knee and open the hip. Get that space back in the front of the left hip. Level your hips. Come high up onto the toes of the right foot. Left knee in towards your nose and step it forward. Step your right foot forward. Look forward as you inhale. And exhale, fold down. Inhale, arms out and up. Exhale, hands by your sides. Give yourself a breath in here and a breath out. Let's pick up your strap again. Hold it that shoulder width position, or a little wider than your shoulders, out in front of you. Shoulder height. Not too high, not too low. Pull the shoulders down as you gently pull the strap. So you're not trying to break it. You're trying to just stretch it 1/4 of an inch. Turn your palms a few degrees towards each other to help the shoulder blades go down. Bend your knees. Keep your gaze forward. Start to look towards the right as your hands go towards the left. And then bring the right hand down towards your left hip. And then keep pulling, try to keep the right arm straight, keep pulling that left arm back. So you're engaging the muscles behind your left shoulder blade. Sit lower, sit back into your heels. Your toes should feel really light. Back up through center. Maybe bend your knees a little bit more. By the way, I like to do this with some space between my feet, but I'm making sure that my thighs are staying parallel, that inner knees are reaching forward. Start to pull your hands over to the right, and then look to the left. Left hand down towards your right hip. Pull your right hand back. Really engage. The muscles behind your right shoulder blade sit lower. You can do this. I can do this and talk at the same time, so you got this. It's not easy, by the way. 2 more breaths. Back to center. Sit a little lower. Pull the strap. And then exhale, fold down. Slide the strap back behind you. Palms face down. And then you'll slide your hands as wide as it feels good. So I'm starting with them shoulder width. Let your head hang down. You can bend your knees as much as you want. Arms lift up. If your shoulders are tighter, take your hands wider apart. As your arms go up, they might go towards the wall in front of your mat. Let your head go. Keep your hands behind you. Bend your knees, look forward. Chest is about parallel to the ground, but then lift your chest, arch your back like you did in your cobra pose. Pull the strap evenly with both hands. Shift your weight into the right foot, lift your left heel. If you need some extra support here, you can pause and put your hands down. Otherwise, left foot lifts. We're gonna float it back, but maybe some of you will pause for a breath before finding your way to your standing lunge. Full breath in here, and full breath out. Release the strap. Arms lift up. Interlace your hands. Turn your palms towards the ceiling. Lift your chest. Full breath. Side bend towards the right. Drop your right hand. Good. Now we're going to kind of spin around from here to a warrior 2. So as your back heel turns down, the right arm reaches forward, left arm back. Come back to your breath. And lengthen your right leg for a triangle pose. I'm going to start with my left hand on my hip and just find space in my legs, space through my right side, and then eventually left arm reaches up. One more breath here. And then as you come up, turn to face the front of the mat. I'm going to heel toe my right foot a little bit more to the right, spin my back heel up, and if you need to take your hands down, please do. Otherwise, slowly lower your knee, hover above the ground, take a breath, let the breath go. Hover just barely about to touch, and then release your back knee down. So your right foot is towards the right side of your mat. We're going to set up for a lizard shape here. So your hands can come to the ground. For some of you, that might feel a little tight in the hips. You can take blocks or books or whatever you're using as a replacement underneath your hands. Some of you like to take your forearms down to the ground. I tend to not like to slump into this shape, but rather engage. I tend to get a lot of tension in my hips, so I'm pressing down through the right heel, and that makes my hips feel like they're lifting. And I'm trying to find a sense of space and stretch without sinking down to the ground. You do what feels right to you for 3 more breaths. And then the back knee lifts up. You can do this transition on your fingertips if you want to add a little challenge to your lightness. And that back foot lifts up, and that back foot steps forward, and you're in a squat. You can take your hands to your heart, lift your chest. Lots of options here if your body doesn't fold into this shape comfortably. You can sit on a block. You can take a blanket or towel rolled up underneath your heels if you're feeling wobbly. And then just be where you are. hands to the ground, hips up, feet parallel. And just let your head shake side to side. Before we come up, I want to do a twist. So I like to do this with the spine parallel to the ground. I'm going to grab my yoga block. You have something you can use to make your arms longer. You'll take that underneath your hands. And the left hand is down on the block. You can take a little bend in the left knee, not too big. Right arm up. The reason I say not too big is so that you can get some of this twist in the spine. Right, how does it feel to lengthen that left leg a little bit and keep the twist in the spine? And then how does it feel to bend the left knee more and get some stretch in the outer right hip? And let's go back and forth between those two positions. Once more. And then right hand down. Chest lifts. Right knee bends just enough to soften. Left arm up. Right, and let's find that pulsation again. So we're finding try to keep as much of the twist as you had with the knee bent as you lengthen the leg a little bit more. See how it puts a little bit more tension into the spine? And then bend it, let the right hip drop, get a little more stretch in the outer left hip. And again, lengthen the right leg, keep that twist through the spine. Bend the knee. Once more. And both hands down. Inhale, lift your chest. And exhale, fold down. Inhaling, arms stretch out and up. And let's bring the hands down to the heart. Lift high up onto the toes. And then bend your knees, hop your feet towards each other so they're that sit bone distance with full breath here. And side to side. Pick up your yoga strap. Arms out in front of you, palms down. Same as before, but with even more breath. So, hands about shoulder width. Turn them a few degrees towards each other to help glide the shoulder blades down. Pull the strap just enough to keep tension. Bend your knees. Big breath. Pull your hands towards the right, look towards the left, hands towards the right hip. Bend your knees more. Stay low. Hands to center. And towards the left hip. Pull back with that left hand. 2 more each side. Stay with your breath, don't rush it. Right, a lot of the things that we're used to rushing in our lives, with all of the changes that are happening in the world, we get to slow them down a little. Are you finding that you're having something in your life that gets to slow down? Maybe your experience is different than mine. You can slow down your yoga practice. Pull the strap. Sit lower. Anyone feeling their quads right now? Whew. One more breath. And then fold down, hands behind you. Whoops. Block got tangled. So hands start about shoulder width. You might find that you want to go a little bit wider. We're just going to take a couple breaths this time around. Anyone else notice that it feels a lot easier right now to let the head go than it did when we were just here a couple of minutes ago? And then reach your hands back. Feel your shoulders lift as you do. Reach your chest forward. Shift your weight to your left foot. If you need the support of your hands, drop your strap and take it. Right heel lifts up, chest reaches forward. Good. The right leg reaches back, maybe it floats. Full breath in. Slowly float back to your lunge. Let the strap go. Arms rise up. Take that non-habitual interlace. Turn your palms up. Easy breath here. And then side bend to the left, left arm drops. Full breath in. And out. Now we're going to pivot from here around to your warrior two, back heel down. Open wide. And breathe. And straightening that front leg. Triangle pose. Length through the left side waist. One more breath. Okay. Come on back up. We're going to heel toe your left foot to the left and pivot forward. Okay. Hands to the hips. Again, if you need to come straight down, bring the hands down first. Please do. Otherwise, hover, breathe. Being with whatever sensations are coming up, welcoming them. It's a good practice to have, especially right now. Come a little bit closer, like you're just a hair away from the ground, and then release it down. Hands come down, hips lift up, at least for a moment. And then find whatever hand position is going to work for you today. So I'm going to do the same thing I did on the other side. So even though I can go lower, it feels good to me to give myself space in the hip to root down through the left heel and the hips stay lifted. Wherever you are, be with your breath. Two more breaths here. Let your head hang down. And then as the back knee lifts, the spine lengthens. Maybe be light on your fingertips here. Back leg lifts. And step it forward to your squat. So you can hang out in your squat again. Or bring your hands down to the ground. Lift high up onto your toes. I'm going to walk back so that my hands are on my mat. Squeeze your knees in, squeeze them in. Reach your chest forward, collarbones back, hips lift, hips are light, chest forward. Maybe one foot lifts up and then the other, or maybe both feet lift up. Now we're going to meet back in a downward facing dog. You can take your legs down and walk them back, or shoot them back. Cobra or upward facing dog. And exhale back. Downward facing dog. Breath in. Breath out. Inhaling, lift high up onto your toes. Exhale, bend your knees, walk or hop. Inhale, heart reaches forward. And exhale, fold down. Inhale, arms out and up. And exhale. Okay. I'm going to turn to face you for this next part. You can stay at the front of your mat if you like. Looks like I've got some neighbors watching me. Hello. Say hi to the neighbors. So this next sequence is a balance sequence. If your balance is feeling a little off today, I recommend coming to a wall. We're going to shift your weight into the right foot. Actually, I'm going to stay facing the front of my mat. You're going to shift the weight into the right foot, and the left knee lifts up. And you're going to turn the left knee out to the left, and you're attempting to pick up the left foot as high as the left knee. It's not going to go.
but that's the attempt you're making. So you're going to be using some of these hip flexors, some of these external rotators. And then as you bend your right knee, your left ankle rests on top of it. Bring your hands to the tops of the thighs. Bend your right knee more. And remember that feeling of the hands behind you holding the strap? You're just going to take those hands behind you again as you sit a little bit lower. Right, so sometimes we kind of slouch forward into this. We're going to keep the shoulder blades squeezing and sit a little bit lower. How much length can you get in the spine? Reach your tailbone back. One more breath. And then as you come up, see if you can pick that left leg up again. And as you take that left knee out to the side, lift your arms up. And step it down. Full breath in. And full breath out. Shift your weight into your left foot. Right knee lifts. And again, you're rotating the leg. So your attempt is to lift that left foot as high as the knee, even if it won't go. Come back to your breath. As you bend your left knee, the ankle rests on it. The hands reach back. As the hands reach back, the shoulder blades just very slightly squeeze. Reach your tailbone back and notice how that increases the stretch. One more breath here. Relax the toes of the left foot. And then sweep the arms up. As you straighten the left leg, the right ankle lifts. Take it out to the side and lift it high. And then step it down. Full breath in. And a full breath out. Inhale, arms lift. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, heart reaches forward. Exhale, however you want to get to down dog. So I'm going to walk my feet back. Some of you would like to take a vinyasa. And then let's come forward to plank and slowly lower all the way down. So we're going to do a shoulder stretch on the ground. I'm going to do the left side first so that you can see me best. So I come down onto my belly and I'm going to do this with the elbow bent at about 90 degrees. The elbow is shoulder height. If it goes too high, it's not going to work. If it goes too low, it's going to get all scrunched and weird. So we're making right angles with our body. And then I turn to look towards the right. You might want a towel or something underneath your head or your yoga blanket. And then I turn my body towards the right. This foot might do anything depending on your flexibility. As I turn my body towards the right, I'm reaching my elbow, that left elbow, towards the left. I'm turning the left side of my rib cage towards the right. And then once I have the position that feels right, I relax and breathe. And then come back onto your belly. And you can give yourself just a moment before you switch sides to notice how you've opened up space on the left side, space for the shoulder, but also space for the breath.
And then you're going to set up your right shoulder. So again, take a look at it. The elbow is shoulder height. The elbow is reaching towards the right as you turn your head towards the left. And your two sides are going to be very different. So as you turn towards the left, you might find, especially if you're right-handed, you're more likely to find that you don't go as far on this side. And just be where you are. Sending your breath into the space where you're feeling opening. Just using that left hand to prop yourself up. Be with your breath in and with your breath out. One more breath here. And then coming onto your belly. Again, either head to one side or you can stack your hands underneath you. Okay. We're going to turn onto the back. Let's set up for some back bends. So starting with a bridge, your feet are that sit bone distance position. Spread through the toes, hips lift up. Try not to let your knees go wider than your hips. And then before you just go straight to interlacing the hands, can you snuggle the shoulders underneath you? We've made a lot of space in the shoulders today. Spread through the toes, softness in the throat. And you can just, it's kind of nice sometimes if you can get yourself to rest on the upper arms underneath you, to just let your hands hang out. So you're welcome to stay there, or if you'd like for a couple of breaths, find that interlace. Right, one isn't necessarily harder or easier or more correct than the other. Your body tells you what the correct shape of the pose is in every moment. Right. The pose isn't your teacher, the body is your teacher. Okay, so what does your body want of you in this moment? Usually in a full yoga class, I like one active back bend and I do restorative for the rest, but I'm gonna take one for the team and do a couple more active ones. I'm just going to show you the restorative one. If you have a yoga block, or you can take a folded up towel, you can take it underneath your hips. This is one of my absolute favorite poses in the world. But for you guys, I'm going to take you through two more active back bends. So you can be where you are, or one more bridge, pushing down through your feet, lifting up, finding that openness in the chest. See if you can find just a little bit of extra, don't force it, the teensiest intention of length through the center of the neck. And then maybe you'll take that interlace with the opposite hand on top. And now if you'd like to come down in between this one and the next one, please do. You can stay here, or, and by the way, I used to never do wheel pose, and I still, I've been doing this class with you today, so I'm a little bit more warmed up in the shoulders. This requires a lot of mobility in the shoulders, the wrists, the upper back. If you'd like to do a wheel pose with me, the hands are by the shoulders, fingers towards the shoulders. Lift your hips, lengthen through the arms. Lift your chest. Lift your chest towards the wall at the front of your mat. Try not to let the knees splay. Breathe. And then chin in towards the chest. And slowly lower down.
That actually felt good. Thanks for giving me the impetus to do some extra back bending today. So you can let your feet go a little wider than your hips and your knees fall towards each other. And see if you can direct the next few breaths to your lower back, middle back, even upper back. And then let's let the knees fall towards the right. And knees fall towards the left. And knees fall towards the right. And knees fall towards the left. And knees back to center. Give yourself a nice full breath in. And full breath out. Okay. I'm gonna reach for my yoga block. You can use, for this, if you don't have a yoga block, you can use a couple of fat books, or even a folded up towel. We're gonna come back to this supported bridge shape. Do you guys love this as much as I do? I don't know what it is. I know a lot of things about what it is. Take another breath into the softness in the front of the hips, the feeling of support at the back of the pelvis. Bring your right knee in towards your chest. You might need to adjust yourself a little bit on your props. And stretch your left leg forward. We started with a little space at the front of the hips. We're going to continue to give ourselves space at the front of the hips. So push forward through your left heel a lot. Let your left thigh bone drop down. Notice how that pulls the right knee away from you. So try to keep that, and then slowly, gently draw the right knee back. You should feel a nice lengthening in the front of the left hip. Take a nice easy breath. And then let your right knee go a little to the right as you keep that left thigh bone pressing down, so it's going to change the stretch, but we're also getting a little bit of fluidity in that left hip. I'm using my elbow as kind of a kickstand to hold my right knee in place. And then come back to center. Keep that left heel pressing forward, and you're just bringing your knee right to the midline, right over the breastbone. One more breath there. And then come back to center. Bend your left knee and place both feet on the ground. Press your hands into the base of your thighs. The root of your thighs are right at the hip. And take a few breaths. And then left knee hugs in. I need to wiggle forward on my block a little bit more, you might too. And then stretch the right leg forward. As you push forward through the heel, it's so much that you feel the leg sliding on your mat. Notice how that pulls the left knee away from you. Keep the action in the right leg as you pull the left knee back. You're going to get a lengthening through the front of the right hip. And then let the left knee fall out towards the left. It can be an inch or it could be a little bit more. But let this be more about what's going on in the front of the right hip. Keep that right thigh pressing down. Keep that right heel pressing forward. Take another breath. And then come back to center and bring the knee just towards the midline as you press the right hip down and the right heel forward. Another breath. And come back to center. Bend your right knee. Place your left foot on the ground. Bring your palms again to the tops of the thighs. And if you're one of those people, and I know because I used to be one of those people who feels like this isn't doing anything because it's so subtle, just give your hips this opportunity anyways. And start to get curious about the subtleties of what happens when I use my hands to encourage space. What am I teaching my body? How does my breath change? Take another breath. And release your hands by your sides. Okay, I'm going to give you all about 10 or so breaths either in this supported bridge pose, or some of you might like to take your legs straight up. If your hamstrings are tighter, this might not be an option that feels good to you. You can try also feet together, knees wide in this position. I'm going to choose legs up. You can play around, see what feels interesting. Pick a position where you feel at ease. And then invite your attention to the breath. Invite your attention to the fact of the floor holding you up and the capacity of your body, your muscles, to release the weight of your bones into the support of the ground. Notice a softness arising around the mouth, the eyes, the jaw, the toes, and the fingers. And we'll meet wherever you are. We'll meet in the supported bridge. And we'll take a breath before slowly sliding the block out from underneath you. You might feel that you'd like again to let your knees go side to side to release your back. If there's another shape that will keep you with a sense of softness and ease that you would like to take right now, give yourself a minute or two in whatever shape your body needs. And then come back to this position with the feet wide and the knees together. And maybe this is the position you'd like to rest in. Maybe you'd like to stretch your legs out in front of you. I am going to come to sit, and I'm going to send you some distance Reiki, some distance healing while you are resting. And I'm sending this to anyone who sets the intention to receive. So whether or not you are watching this live, you can set the intention, and my intention is to send this healing energy to anyone who intends to receive it. If for any reason you intend not to receive it, that's beautiful too. And just giving yourself another breath to be with your intention, to receive or to be on your own. And stepping into these several minutes of rest. And bringing your attention now back to the breath. Feeling the expansiveness of the breath in and the breath out. Very slowly, gently bending your knees if your legs are straight out in front of you. And rolling to your side. By the way, you're in your own space. You can stay as long as you need. And as you're ready, you'll slowly, gently find your way back up to sit. Drawing your palms to touch at the heart. Allowing yourself a moment to check in with yourself. Notice if you felt any shift within yourself. Do you feel any more spaciousness, ease, peace? Or any more aware of yourself, even if what your awareness is of none of those things? We can only be exactly where we are. Setting any intention you have for your day today, for your week ahead. And let's take a full breath in together. And a full breath out. Bowing the head, the infinite wisdom of the heart. Namaste. We brought the sun out.